Amen. Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Daniel, as maybe you now know. I'd planned an introduction, but it's already done, so it's perfect. But really, thank you for having me here today. I've been part of this church since before I was even born, probably. And really, it's a huge honor to be here. So really, thank you for coming, for listening. It's really a huge honor. And this church has invested so much in me, and I hope I can just give you a little grain of investment this morning with what I share. I'm going to talk today. In a moment, there's a slide which will come up on riding the waves of life. Does anybody remember this picture, and can anybody recognize that from this week? Yeah? Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to have a bit of a practical talk today. I'm going to move this to the side. In the first couple of moments, I need to just prepare, because if you'd like, we're not going to just talk about riding the waves of life, but we're also going to learn about surfing today. And so I'm not as good as Gabrielle, who was on the screen a moment ago, but I can surf a little bit. So I thought, why don't we bring the surfboard and we can all learn how to surf today? Is everybody excited? Everybody keen to do that? Yeah? Perfect. Okay. Then let me go and get my props. If anybody else wants to join, you're welcome to come to the front and also learn with me how we surf. So if you want to do that, you can do that in your place. It might be hard exactly where you're sitting if you've got chairs beside you. But feel free to, as I practice movements, to come and do it with me. So I'm just going to get my props and everything now. Okay. So we have here, there's not always bean bags, but okay, here we are. Okay, let's hope I've balanced it right. Oh, I'm going to lose my words at the same time. Perfect. Okay, so as we spoke, I think Brian last week spoke about the Olympics. Or started our series on the Olympics, so really thank you also, Brian, for encouraging me. What was really cool, when I look at our picture of Gabriel Medina, he posted on Instagram straight after, he must have seen Brian's message, but also his picture with Philippians, saying, through Christ I can do all things. It's not the same verse exactly as Brian, but maybe he was encouraged by Brian's message last week. So if you look at Instagram at Gabriel Medina's post, yeah, he actually was posting Philippians 1:4 in that. So thank you, Brian, for that inspiration and inspiring our Olympian. Okay, so as a surfer, we need to prepare. So if anybody would like to do this with me, you're very welcome. We're going to lie down. You can lie down on the floor if you want to, but I'm going to lie down on the surfboard, and I'm going to show you how you prepare for surfing, okay? So when I'm surfing, I need to prepare by lying flat down on the board. Oh yeah, perfect. You've got some light. Yep. Okay. You might need a bit of movement for your arms. Maybe get a bit more space. That's it. Okay. Then, okay, perfect. You can come along here if you want to. Okay, perfect. So, first thing is you're lying down straight, and you need to be able to move your neck each way. Hopefully, it's not giving feedback. Wow, Ian did a very good job. Okay. So, and now you need to be able to stretch your arm. Can you stretch your arms out very far? And you're paddling. Perfect. Okay. So this is our first step. We need to be able to look around and move. Okay, so that is our first step for preparing to surf. And as we prepare for going into the water, we need to be light. As a surfer, I run into the water with just my wetsuit and my board. I run in like this. Has anybody ever seen a surfer run into the water with everything that they needed for the beach? With their rucksack, with their blanket, with their food for later? No? Has anyone seen that? No. No, I think it's a really good reminder for me of how do we prepare for our day. Do we go into our day with our backpacks, with our stuff from yesterday, or are we able to leave that down? We talked in the passage today about Hebrews 12, and it says there, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles us. So I want to ask you, when you start your day, do you start your day with yesterday's worries? Do you start your day with the concerns of yesterday's, with problems or baggage which maybe you're holding on to? I think I often do. I can often, hold on to more things. I feel, it's my ownership. I have to hold on to this. I have to hold on to these worries, onto the problems that I have. But it says in 1 Peter 5:7, pour out all your worries and stress upon him and leave them there, for he always tenderly cares for you. I don't know if we remember that when we wake, when we prepare for our day, but God tenderly cares for you. And when we are, getting ready, whatever cares, whatever worries we may have, we can leave them in the same way at his feet. Sometimes, I don't know if that sounds a bit abstract. How can we do that? I think we can pray. We can always talk to God. God always hears us. I think it's always also good that we can also write down. Maybe you've got concerns. You might want to do that even at the end of your day. But write down on a piece of paper, hey, these are some of the things I'm worried about, I'm concerned about. Or do that as you start the day, to really give that to God, because he cares for you and he wants to take those things for you. Okay, that's our first step. So we've prepared for our day. We've prepared for our surfing session. The next step is, and I'm hoping my volunteers are also ready for the next step of how we're going to get up onto our board and start to surf. Okay, so I'm going to now try and show you. I hope the camera is also going to catch me. But we've begun with our starting preparation position. Okay, everybody in their starting preparation position? Okay, so now, what we're going to do is we're going to look behind. We're going to see if there's a wave. If there's a wave, you're going to start paddling. So we reach out to the front. We keep going. And then when you see the wave is coming, you bring your hands to your chest. You bring one foot to your other knee. Okay, one foot to the other knee, ready? And then you're going to do a mini push-up and swing around like this, okay? Well done, nice, okay. Wow, there's like 6 surfers here. Okay, perfect. Hey, so if you want to, you can continue practicing that while I continue talking through, or you can listen. It's up to you. You'll probably be better than me by the end of the service if you do keep practicing. Hey, we need to have the right technique. As a surfer, it's important to know where we stand. If I try and do this, and I'm coming up on my board, and I fall off. If I don't get my feet, I hope I haven't broken the mic. I fall off. If I get up and one foot is here and one foot is here, I'm not going to be able to surf on the wave. I'm going to fall off. Or if the board isn't there at all, then I'm really going to struggle. It's important, as a surfer, to know where we stand. I want to ask you, do you know the foundation to which you stand when you're riding the waves of life? Do you remember who you are? When we think about the technique for getting up on a surfboard, there's a foundation that I need. Do I remember that same foundation for my life? Do I remember who I am? Do you remember who you are, who God calls you to be? You are loved. You are courageous. You are bold. You are a light. God has called you to this moment, to this time. I think there's going to be some things which come up on the screen which just remind us a little bit of who God says we are. And I just want to remind us and encourage us, do we remember those things when we are going into our day? Is that the foundation of our life? Or are we forgetting sometimes maybe the technique, the foundation of where we're coming from? Okay, so finally, sorry, I might have gone too quickly, Brian, but I'm now going to talk about how we start going. So we've now managed to start, we've prepared, we've gotten up, we've got the right foundation so we can get onto the board. I'm now going to show you how we can start going. Okay, so I'm going to go through everything together. If you want to practice with me, you're welcome. If not, it's okay as well. So we start, we're preparing, perfect, great interaction. Okay, now we paddle, we see the waves coming. We paddle, the waves coming right here. We move up, we get up, and then your knees are bent, and now you need to look in the direction that you want to go. Can you do that? Okay, so if I look this way, then I'm going to turn this way. If I turn this way, I have to look this way, okay? Can we do that? Okay, perfect. So when we're surfing, we need to focus our eyes, our head, and our arms in the direction that we want to go in. If I look elsewhere, then I fall off the wave. Or even I come out of the wave. How do we relate this to riding the waves of life? Where are your eyes at? Where are your eyes set on? Hebrews 12:2 says, let us run or let us surf with perseverance, the race or the wave marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. How much do we fix our eyes on Jesus every day? In our lunch breaks, meal times, work, school, conversations, how much do we invite Jesus into that? How much do we set our eyes on him in those times in our day? One of my favorite verses is Matthew 6:33, and it says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. And I think it kind of reminds me that the right perspective that I need to have is to focus first on Jesus, and that then the other things will come, the other things will follow. And so how can we try and bring that into our days? Okay, so I've now talked through the first 3 steps of how we get up on the wave, how we then start surfing the wave. My final point that I want to talk about is what happens when you fall off. I've never seen it's very rare that you see a surfer surf all the way in perfectly onto the sand without falling off. If they do, they probably break the board because on the bottom of the board there's some fins, and they aren't very good if you start damaging them on the sand or on rocks. So what happens when we fall off? I want to tell you, first of all, it's normal to fall off. When I learned to surf, even now when I'm trying to surf, I fall off a lot. And probably I'm more times falling off the board than surfing the wave. But I think one thing I have to remember is always to get back onto the board and keep surfing. I think that can be a reminder for me in life that there's many times when I might try and do the right thing, I might try and live my life in a certain way, but I muck up, I make a mistake, I'm rude, I'm arrogant, I'm not humble, I'm whatever. But actually, hey, I need to go to God and say, hey, God, help me, please, get back on the board. And he says always gracefully, yeah, come back and continue surfing, continue walking with me. So it says, in Hebrews 12:3, consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. And hey, I want to tell you, it's not always easy. It's not always easy as a surfer. It's not always easy in life to keep on going. I want to tell you, there's one time I was trying to surf in Portugal. In Portugal, you go there because they have really big waves, probably 2 bigger waves than my skill level, but you always go for probably a higher expectation than where the reality. So I'm in Portugal. I'm there with waves probably about this high, and I've missed my wave, okay? So I've come underneath the wave, and I'm in the water. And what happens sometimes when you're in a very big wave is what's called the washing machine effect. Has anybody ever heard of this? Maybe Graham probably knows it very well, or maybe not. He's probably a better surfer than me, and he never has encountered a washing machine. But what happens is, a bit like in the washing machine, the wave comes round and round and round. It takes your body round and round and round within the wave. Okay? And so you can't, no matter what you try, you can't get out of the wave. And it's almost like you just need to wait until until the wave has stopped before you can breathe again and come up. Often in that time, even if you're swimming, you don't know if you're swimming up or if you're swimming down or what's going on. It's not always the most pleasant of experiences when you're surfing. There's lots of much better parts of surfing. But yeah, so we're sitting in this washing machine. So I then come up, I grab a breath of fresh air, and then immediately, as soon as I open my mouth, the next wave has come, and I'm swallowing now salt water, and the next one comes. And this pattern can go on for maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 waves, whereby you kind of can't get out of this trap a little bit. And you can feel totally lost. You can feel totally like, wow, I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I was surfing on the wave. I thought I was getting to know how to do life. But then I can feel totally lost, totally alone. I think, I don't know if you can relate to that washing machine feeling. Maybe in life you sometimes feel out of control, or things feel out of control. Whenever you think you're out of the wave, another wave comes. Do you feel lost and perhaps like giving up hope even? Maybe you're even asking God, hey, where are you? I remember now being in the wave and being like, wow, really, where are you, God? Like also asking that question, where are you, God? What is this? Like, how does this work? But I want to remind you that if you're feeling far from him, if you're feeling like you're being washed up and you can't control what's going on around you, that God is never too far, even if it feels like it. In the same way, a surfer is never far from his board. So when we look at, I have a final picture which will come up now, and you see that there's something which is attached to the surfer and the board. There's a leash, okay? And this leash connects the surfer to the board. And this means that the surfer is always connected. And that means that at some point we can grab our board and hold on to what floats. We can grab our board and hold on to safety. In the same way, we, as the branches, are attached to our vine. As we close now, I want to remind you that we, as followers of God, are never far from our shepherd. No matter how far away we feel, we are never far away from our shepherd. He is always there. He is always with you as we go through our waves of life. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Dan. We're going to continue with our prayers. Take a moment first to do what Dan was saying, to fix our eyes on Jesus. Let's just take a moment, we're going to be quiet, to personally choose to fix our eyes on him, no matter what's going on in our lives. He is the author and he is the perfecter of our faith. Fix your eyes on him.